Kerry is one of the most popular tourist destinations on the island of Ireland. Speaking of Kerry, people think immediately of the Ring of Kerry. The Ring of Kerry is located on the largest of the 5 peninsulas in the south of Ireland, on the Iveragh Peninsula to be precise. It is a panorama route, about 180 kilometers long. It is absolutely spectacular. Wild Atlantic coastline, mountains and marshland. On the Iveragh Peninsula you find many natural and man-made highlights. Ross Castle, a typical tower house, dates back to the 15th century and is located at the edge of Loch Lean, one of the lakes of Killarney. It was one of the last Irish strongholds taken by Oliver Cromwell's troops. The English were unable to take it by land, so they launched a warship in the lake, which turned out to be successful. As you drive the Ring of Kerry, you pass through a lot of little villages and towns. One of them is Waterville. Waterville is famous, for example, for Charlie Chaplin. From the 50s until mid-70s or beginning 70s, Charlie Chaplin and his family returned to Waterville year for year. There was a very special connection between Charlie Chaplin, his family, and this little village. But Waterville is not only famous for Charlie Chaplin, who is being honored in form of a statue here in the village. It's also famous for Mick O'Dwyer. Mick O'Dwyer is one of Ireland's Gaelic football legends. He was born in this village and he lives in this village. We are looking here at a prehistoric structure. The Cahergal Ringfort is about 1400 years old. Ireland has many prehistoric sites. To be very honest, it is not really much known about the purpose of those structures. There's a lot of theories. We talk about homesteads, for example. We talk about military fortresses. It's well possible. But I mean, for the last 20 years, I have been looking into prehistoric Ireland. And when I'm in one of these ringforts, like now, and I'm looking around and look at the terraces and the steps, and then I look at the center of the ringfort, then I notice something, and I can't help thinking that these ringforts might have been temples, prehistoric religious sites. I can really well imagine how a druid, a prehistoric pagan priest, that they might have communicated with the gods and goddesses of the time. That they might have offered the gods and goddesses sacrifices to calm them down if they were angry. There might have been other rituals. There might have been court cases negotiated in these temples. There might have been theaters. I don't know, but for me, those sites are absolute magic. And just look at the view from up here all around. It's magnificent. And over there in the distance, we even see a medieval structure, a so-called tower house. We are looking here at the birthplace of Daniel O'Connell. You all know Daniel O'Connell, or you know of Daniel O'Connell. If you have ever walked O'Connell Street, which is probably the best known shopping street in Ireland altogether, in the centre of Dublin, O'Connell Street, you have seen the O'Connell Monument at the top of the street, the O'Connell Bridge, which is the major bridge crossing the Liffey from north to south in the centre of Dublin. Then you know who I'm talking about. He's called the Liberator, and this ruin we are looking at here is the birthplace of Daniel O'Connell. Yeah, it's not really much left of it. You find this ruin just outside of Cahergal, on the brink of Kerry. Sneem is a beautiful, colourful little village. It is the birthplace of the Irish heavyweight wrestling world champion Steve Casey, also known as the Crusher. And when we look at this church, I find that really typical for Ireland. You find that actually quite often. If you look at the church steeple, it is a salmon, a fish. And look at the riverbed, isn't that beautiful? The river is also called Sneem, the same as the village. The southern part of this peninsula was declared an international dark sky reserve in 2014. At the time, it was one of 3 worldwide international dark sky reserves. And at the time, it was the only dark sky reserve in the northern hemisphere. Currently, we have about 16 such reserves worldwide. In this area, there is none or minimal light pollution. There are also guided experiences to actually witness this spectacular night sky. Dingle is a remote peninsula with plenty of spots with no mobile phone cover. I mean, I actually really like that. You don't have to turn off your phone. It just won't work. The town of Dingle has a lot to offer. Besides brilliant pubs and restaurants with great seafood, you also can do a lot of souvenir hunting. Dingle has got really good shops, hidden gems, as I like to say, with Irish craftsmanship. And there's plenty of that in Ireland. After you leave Dingle town, you will get to the Slea Head Drive. It's absolutely magic. It is much, much shorter than the Wing of Kerry, but as far as I'm concerned, it just has a little bit more, or much more, to offer. It is not as overrun as the Wing of Kerry. And you can do it really, if you just drive it, you're done in 40 minutes. But you want to stop, trust me. You want to stop, take pictures, relax, just, arrive. On the Ring of Kerry, we looked at a medieval tower house, we looked at a prehistoric Ringfort. Here we have a look at an early Christian site, the Gallarus Oratory. Some people say it is up to 1200 years old. I doubt that, to be quite honest. I believe it dates back to the 12th century. Some also say it was built on an early Christian site, a monastic site, which I also doubt, because there were excavations were done here over many decades. Nothing was ever found. Next to this structure, next to this oratory, we find a grave, a family grave. The Moore family is buried here. And we do believe that this family built this oratory to have a shelter to do their prayers or to remember their ancestors. It is built of local stone. It looks like a ship that's upside down, a boat that's upside down. And it was built more or less without any mortar. And you know, we're talking about 12th century, we're talking about 900 years, and it's still waterproof. Not a drop of water gets in here. You know, it does sometimes rain in Ireland, but it doesn't rain into this oratory. Croagh, Ireland's holy mountain. In the 5th century, so it is said, St. Patrick fasted and prayed on top of this mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. Every last Sunday in July, we call it Week Sunday, thousands of pilgrims of all denominations climbed this mountain, some barefooted. I did it, I think it was in 2004, and it is actually not as easy as it is always made out to be. I find it actually quite a challenge, but you see, even children do it. But then again, once you get to the top, you have a beautiful view over Clew Bay, home of the pirate queen Croagh O'Malley. I actually don't believe she was a pirate. For me, she was a queen, but that's a different story. If you visit Croagh or even Cong, Westport is a very good place to maybe stay for the night. It's a nice town. It's vibrant. Has got some nice pubs and cafes, little shops, very good accommodation. Westport is about 3.5 hours from Dundalk and just over 3 hours from Dublin. From here you can also do a day trip to Achill Island. Bertra Beach is located just outside of Westport in County Mayo, not far from Croagh. The beach is 12 kilometers long. Even so, Bertra beach is special. There are many, many beautiful beaches in this area. Cong is mostly famous for the movie The Quiet Man, which was made in 1952, starring John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. Cong is a quaint little village with some little cafes, restaurants and pubs. For me, the highlight of this village is Cong Abbey, which was founded in the 7th century. The ruins we're looking at today are dating back to about the 12th century. What we find, a part of the Abbey is a little fishing house placed on top of the river. We see a little hole in the ground. That was most probably to hang freshly caught fish, to hang it into the river and keep it fresh while you continue to fish. The fisher house dates back to about the 15th or 16th century. The world-famous 5-star Ashford Castle Hotel is located just outside the village of Cong.